Okay, we're live here. We're at the federal building. Trial's going to start here shortly. Got probably about 30 minutes. So we're going to see what if we can get some comments, or I can get some comments from the sheriff in Plukey this morning, Miss Estrada, Sergeant Estrada, who's also being sued by Lott for allegedly retaliating on her after she testified against Plukey. Who is this coming? Sergeant Estrada already made it in the facility, so we missed her. Got a tripod today, so this should be a little more stable than it was yesterday. Move it over here.
Morning, how you doing?
Hey!
All right. You're not gonna be able to come past that plant right there
Okay.
with the camera.
Yes, sir.
You're not a actual news
Well,
person. This is federal property.
sure.
Really not supposed to be having nothing facing this building on this federal property.
Really?
Yeah, that's in writing.
Okay. So what would you like for me to do?
Well, I'm just telling you, don't come past this right here.
Yes, sir.
So it's the way it's gonna have to be.
News is about covering events. I'm here covering events.
This is federal property.
Yes, sir. I understand. I respect that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to argue with you on what you're telling me to
Right,
do.
right.
I'll do whatever you tell me to do.
This is not like being in the civilian. This is federal.
Yes, sir.
That's all I'm saying. You know.
Well, I understand you got a job to do, and I
Yeah.
respect that.
Yeah.
We're not going to have any problem. I promise you. Okay. Well. Hey, hey. Got the Hattiesburg American here.
Yeah.
Doing a little live broadcast. Waiting on the sheriff and Plukey to get here, and Mr. Estrada's already inside.
Oh, all right.
He was telling me, he came out and told me I couldn't film he said I'm not supposed to technically film the building.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's what he said.
No,
It's on camera.
I think that's okay.
So in the United States of America, cannot film a federal building apparently. I'll check into that. I'm sure there's something there that So according to him, we're not real news. Okay, so we have some jurors coming in now, so we're not going to film them. We don't want to violate they didn't choose to be here. They're just doing their duty, so we certainly don't want to put any pressure on our public servants that are trying to help the situation by doing their civic duty. Do not plan on listing any names of jurors. This organization, we want to support citizens, and we don't want to put any pressure on anybody who is a private citizen and not in a position of the public's trust. That is what this is about. This is about holding people accountable in the position of the public's trust and exposing waste, fraud, abuse, and corruption in government. And that's the limited scope of what the Hattiesburg Patriot is about, and what the site is about, and what the people who volunteer from time to time and help, and myself, that is what we are limiting this project to. This is a community service project. There's no money being made by anyone on this project. We simply want to clean up our government. We want to tell the truth, show the facts, educate voters, And that is really all it's about. And we, if people have the right information, most people will do the right thing. Most people want what's best for their community. Now, the cronies are a different story, and we know there's a lot of cronies in Hattiesburg. The mayor runs the government like a job employment engine, and it's designed to keep him in office. And, you've got people like Carmen Anderson, head of human resource at public school district. And, she and her husband both voted illegally in the election. They pled guilty to that. And they had two homesteads. They had a homestead in Hattiesburg and a homestead in Jones County. But she is still there right now until maybe some changes happen. But the point being is that she does all the hiring in the district. And there's a reason that she is there in that position, and that is to serve the mayor. And that is what we believe and what I believe and what the evidence seems to point to, because she's not hiring the best people just for their job performance. Case in point, she hired a woman who had drug offenses and was caught up in a drug trafficking ring. She was money laundering for them, and she got arrested. She was a third grade teacher. And then you have the board of directors. You've got Percy Watson, who is the board attorney, and he hasn't followed the statute and advised the board properly, because they had Marcus Cathy, who was renting a school building to have Sunday church services. He's competing with other pastors in the community for a congregation. And, he sits on the board of the school, and he gets a great deal on renting a brand new school building every Sunday to build his congregation. So that's not fair, and the law specifically prohibits that. It specifically states that if you are a school board trustee member, that you may not have a lease agreement with any nonprofit corporation that you're a member of. And he is absolutely a member of his nonprofit corporation for his church. Now, here's the thing. Here's what Percy did. Percy knew the law. And so rather than break the law in that regard, they just broke it in another way. And they didn't have a lease agreement. They had a memorandum of understanding, which is another way of saying lease agreement without saying lease agreement. And the problem with the memorandum of understanding is they did not even vote on it as a board. And so when the Hattiesburg American and the Hattiesburg Patriot questioned them about this, they said, well, there was no conflict because the board members never voted on it. So, think about that for a second. This is what is running our school district. And this is why our district is going to be taken over by the state. And there's people out there who think it may or may not. I'm here to tell you that it is my strong opinion, based on information and facts that I've seen, documentation of the financials, the audit reports. There is just, I don't think there's any way they can come out by the end of this year and have a positive cash balance in their funds. And the minute that they can't pay their bills, then the state has to come in and take over. And so that's what's likely going to happen. Now, the good thing about that is that if the state takes over, they inject about $3 million in our school district. And it would have to be paid back at no interest within 5 years of them receiving it. So, but if they don't take us over, we don't have the $3 million. And so we would even have to make more cuts to get to that point. So I got some more jurors coming in, so I'm turning the camera. It's just a mess. And this is not about black or white. This is about what's right and what's best for our community. And there's no reason why this community, given its level of funding and the educational resources that we have, that we can't have at least an average school district. I mean, we should at least be able to have a C-rated district. I mean, we are just above failing. And then when these new test scores come out, folks, I'm told that it's abysmal. That it's, I didn't get a lot of details, but I'm just told that it is not good at all, which would indicate to me that it's worse than last year, and that wasn't good. So there is going to be a lot of things happening in Hattiesburg, from our school district more than likely getting taken over, and these indictments are going to change the political landscape in our community. And there has to be more indictments coming. The jail food is real. There's a lot of people out there who want to say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. You see crime where none exist, or corruption where none exist. And one person made a comment on Facebook to that effect about 2 days ago, and here we are. Kenny Fairley's been indicted, could face 65 years in prison if everything was concurrent. And then his co-conspirator, that Artie guy from Louisiana, which nobody really knows much about him. I don't know if he's of any consequence. He is probably going to be the one that will cooperate and testify against Fairley, if I had to guess. But there are more people who will be indicted. You just mark those words. There's more people. There are more people who will be indicted. Could be as early as next week. We don't know. The thing about the federal investigators is these guys and ladies and men they follow the law. They don't talk about these things. Information that I receive comes from people in the community that have connections and hear things. And you can't hide your lantern under a haystack, as they say. And when the feds are investigating somebody and they discover that's the case, then it doesn't take long for information to leak out. And the first place people want to call are the media. And the great thing about what's happened here recently is, the site's covered so much about the cream scheme, and people have seen that this is a legitimate media outlet, and we are doing the investigative reporting in this town for the most part. I mean, if it wasn't for people who are helping and providing information and volunteering their time to search business records and property records, I couldn't do it by myself. I certainly can't take credit for it. Did receive a tip yesterday. We'll share it with everyone here. And maybe if someone wants to go check some property records, they can. But I'm told, and I wasn't given any names, but that some of these major political figures in town have moved property from their name to their children's names. And they think that it's going to protect them. And I'm told that when you find those people who've done that those are the people who are likely going to be indicted. So these are things to consider. If anybody knows anyone who is in public service or in a position of public trust who's transferred property to their children, let us know about it. Okay, we're about 15 minutes till 9, 18 minutes to 9. We're still waiting on the sheriff to get here at the federal courthouse in Plukey. And we're here at the federal building. Good.
Are you with the Hazard?
I am.
What's your name?
Tom.
John Windsor.
Hey, good to meet
I was
you.
going to say you're doing a good job.
Thank you, John.
I used to work for Billy McGee and them
Yeah.
for 12 years.
Can I put you on camera?
And I'm going to go in here.
I'm
sit
rolling
behind
live is what I'm
you.
saying.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Okay.
I understand.
So what do you think about all this?
Oh, I'm glad the day's coming.
You do an interview? Okay.
I'll get you when I come back out.
Okay.
I'm going to go in here.
Okay.
Sit down a minute behind him.
Okay. Well, I'll be up there in a second.
See what, okay.
All right.
Good to meet you.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Well, there was someone that just came up and used to work for these guys and was congratulating myself on this, on what we're doing here at exposing this corruption. And I just, again, I can't take full credit for what's happening here. This is something that's bigger than me, and I created a vessel for this. It's to serve the community. It's not to make money. And this site's a megaphone for the honest people in this community who want to fight corruption. We're going to take our community back. We're going to expose these people. We're going to put them in the public's eye, and we're going to let them know that we're not going to take this anymore. We're just not going to take it anymore. The days of doing business in the dark are over. The days of doing business in the dark are over in Hattiesburg. And we're going to get to Forest County too, because there's some problems there. Great people on the board there, but we have some issues that we're going to expose. Folks, what you have to do, all you really have to do is follow the money, because wherever the money is where the corruption is. And it's at the city, and it's in the Parks and Recs department, and it's in the, wastewater department, and it's in Public Works department. I mean, it's at local schools, hospitals, wherever money is. Those people who sit on the board have to be examined and scrutinized on a very high level. So they're on a board of a hospital, board of a school, in city government, board of a school district. These are where the problems are. This is where the corruption is. And you have to stay ever vigilant, because it just creeps in. It just creeps in. And it's all based on cronyism. A lot of people want to say that it's about race, and sometimes it is. But this is about getting reelected. And this is about putting people in positions that are going to get you reelected. And it's not about putting people in positions who are... It's not about putting people in positions who are going to be the best for that position. And a lot of times people who are not qualified are put in, and they're happy. I mean, good Lord, can you imagine some of the people, how happy they were to have a $80,000 a year job at the school district who could barely read and write? I mean, seriously. Wouldn't you imagine something like that would do just about anything that the person put them there, told them to do? I mean, what are they going to do? Go get another job for $80,000 a year? I mean, this is how it works. And it's not just here, it happens everywhere. But fortunately, we've got a community who's reporting, turning in information is what we need. We need information. We don't need, hey, go check into this and you ought to look here. That's a needle in a haystack. We want people who have specific information, who can say, hey, you need to go and pull this request, this public document, and you need to pull this public document. And when you do those, you'll see this. I mean, that's what we need to know, where to go to get these documents and to get this information. If you'll notice things that are published on the website, most everything everything on that website is backed up by facts. Everything. And if anybody out there can provide anything that is materially false or inaccurate on that website, go for it. Send it to us. Because I've said this to numerous people who want to say that this site is a gossip, this site doesn't, have facts. Well, they never can point it out. And, things that are truthful in the public eye, for example, Pam Castle's affair with the deputy, which came up at trial. I mean, this is a woman who slept with the deputy, who she called as a witness in different trials. And the defendants never knew this, and they have a right to a fair and impartial trial. They have a right to have a fair prosecution, and when you call your lover up to testify against them and you don't know about it, that's a problem, folks, and I don't care what anybody says. That is a big problem, and any attorney should know that. And for a judge to allow this to happen, and there were judges who knew about this, and People say, "Oh, that doesn't matter to me. What happens in their personal life happens in their personal life." Okay, that's fine, and I agree with that. But this isn't personal. This is business. This is a public figure in a position of public's trust, and with another person in the position of the public's trust who serves the community, and they're violating our trust. And when that happens, it is not personal. And as a matter of fact, it came up at trial. And when they put Mr. Riles on the stand, who's an investigator at the sheriff's department, and he was told to investigate this little piddly incident that was nothing really. I mean, the people who testified said it was no big deal. He was asked, and that was when they were allegedly targeting Miss Lott. He was asked by Lott's attorney, "Don't you think that, you know, when you have a married couple who's working for the sheriff's department and one of those people sleeps with the prosecutor, that could cause a problem in the sheriff or in the deputy doing their job?" And Riles admitted, yeah, he did. I mean, he couldn't sit up there and deny that. I'm sure he would have loved to, but you couldn't without looking like a fool. And it was a valid point in the argument here to show that the sheriff's department was targeting one person because she testified and did her duty to testify at trial in the Dave Word pre-trial. But you have another person running around with the prosecutor and you're not doing anything, and you admitted in deposition you knew about it. And the sheriff admitted in deposition he knew about it. So he admitted he knew about it, and he admitted he did nothing about it. And his response, I think, to, well, you know, what do you think about this? Well, his response was, "Oh well. Oh well." Then at trial, up in here, they pointed out that Captain Robert Earl Gray, who he voted at his mother's house in the election. He has lived in Lamar County outside of the city limits for a number of years. Oh, I think we've got maybe the sheriff and Plukey rolling in right here. There they are. Okay, so we're going to see if they'll answer a few questions for us. I would imagine that they would. Probably not going to say too much. There's the sheriff. He's on the phone. Sheriff, how'd you not know about all the food that was being stolen out of the jail? How could you possibly be a sheriff and not know these things? I mean, how can this happen? Are you competent? Are you competent to be sheriff? Well, I was also brought up about the sheriff having the affair on his wife. His wife doesn't want a divorce.